Hello, my name is Brandon Meek, and today I would like to go over Berger's axioms: verbal communication, nonverbal warmth, information seeking, self disclosure, reciprocity, similarity, liking, and shared networks. The axiomatic theory was developed by Charles Berger. He proposed a series of axioms to explain the connection between his central concept of uncertainty and 8 key principles of relationship development, according to Griffin 2006. The first one is verbal communication. This says the more you speak to the person, the more comfortable that you become with them. So if you are speaking to someone you just met, the more and more communication that develops, like, hey, how are you? Fine. How was your day? The more banter that comes across, the more comfortable you are with that person. The second is nonverbal warmth. These are nonverbal cues like head nods and smiles to help edge out the discomfort. So if you say fine and smile, you get a warmth from that person, so you are a lot more comfortable with that person. And if you nod in agreement and listen to what they say and make eye contact, you are a lot more likely to have a good conversation with that person. Information seeking is where we look at motives and what the other person says to understand them better. That's like if they say they hate rainy days, we know there's someone that has a tendency to like sunshine and rainbows and all of that fun stuff, so there might be a more happy person in certain situations, or they might be a complainer, but you can relate to that person by what they say and the information you obtain from them. Self-disclosure. This is a sign of familiarity that shows a window into that person's idea of self. So if they say, yes, I have 3 kids, or if they just bring up, I have a kid that's going to kindergarten today, you can know a little bit about that person as to what they want you to know. And if that person wants you to know they have a kid, they want you to know they have a family, and they're trying to get to know you a little bit better. And that goes on to the next slide, the reciprocity. Giving back information about yourself because the person did so first. That's like, since they told you they have a kid going to kindergarten, you might say, well, I have a kid in the first grade, or me and that's great. I can't imagine having kids yet, or whatever may come to your mind about yourself. The sixth is similarity, things you have in common. As I said before in the last two, the first person said, oh, I have a kid starting kindergarten. If the second person said, I have a kid in kindergarten too, or they just have a kid, that is a similarity. That is something that they have developed that gives them something big in common. Other examples are they hear a song playing outside, and one says, I love that song, and the other one agrees. This gives them something to talk about and base their friendship or even conversation off of. Liking. The more you know a person, the more you will like them. According to Berger, he thinks that the longer you know someone and the more you speak and the more affluent with a person, the more you like them. Many critics do not agree with that. They think the more you know someone, the less you like them. But Berger has a tendency, from what we read about him, to be more of an optimistic person, saying the more you get to know someone, the more you like them because they allow you to know them, and in theory, they will know you more too. So you both will have a good relationship because you know exactly who that person is and what they're for, just like they know exactly who you are and what you're for. And 8, if you shared networks. If you have several people you trust, you may be more likely to trust others. That's like if you have a wife or a husband at home and kids that you share everything with, and a group of friends, and you have a lot of people that you put trust in and you have faith in, and you have a tendency to respect them more, you have a lot more tendency to trust others, new people coming in. That is like if you just met someone off the street and everybody around you has given you that comfort of self, you might not need anyone else in your group, but you're a lot more likely to befriend them or be nice to them because you have nothing else to lose. you have such a good thing, you're not going to lose your friends that you already have. So why not add someone else to give them that same love that you feel and that same respect that you feel? And personal experience with all of these involves really the thing that comes to mind at first is when I was starting a new job a couple of years ago. I wasn't sure what to do and how to feel, so I had no idea what to say when I first met someone. But I tried to go down a list that I learned in psychology of something like this, where the start was the person I had met first was name was Matt, and I just said, because I was trying to blend in and I didn't know anyone else at the job, I said, "Hey Matt, how are you?" And I developed conversation with them. And, me and him kind of made jokes and kind of grinned and laughed at each other's jokes and whatnot, so it made it easier to talk to that person. And then I asked, what brought you to this job? And he told me the information. And then he asked me back, and I gave them my information. And then I told him about myself, like I was married, and what I was looking for, what my interests were. And he proceeded with the same. He told me that he was wanting to go to be an engineer and that he appreciated that I wanted to be a speech pathologist at the time. And then we figured out what we had in common. We both liked a lot of the same bands, and we found out that in school we were both in band as children, or in high school as children. And you know what I mean. And then liking. The more we know each other, the more we like that person. That day, I can say the more we knew each other, the more we got along and liked. Eventually, the more we knew about each other, the less we liked. But that's the nature of relationships, and I have a tendency to believe some of Berger's critics, but I believe that first initial reaction, that first conversation, you do like someone more the more you are around them. And at the time, I did have a collection of friends that I really trusted, so I didn't care to make another one so that I can make that easier on myself, because I didn't have the insecurities of not. But in the end, these are helpful in learning about ourselves in relation to others, and we should be mindful of these axioms. I believe that we all could use these to better our own conversations with everybody we know and make more friends and be more comfortable with ourselves.